Good, whatever time of day it is for you, and welcome to episode 31 of Balls Deep.
Welcome, good morning, good evening.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I guess that's good evening, isn't it?
Well, actually, funnily enough, I had a class today that, so I teach English as a foreign language online, for those that don't know, and my student we were talking about the meals that you have at different times of day, and it said you have breakfast in the morning. It said you have lunch in the afternoon. I'm not sure that I would say that. That I wouldn't describe it that way. And then you have dinner in the evening. And then you go to bed at night.
I can get that. Yeah, I think if you were to write on a piece of paper lunch is at 12, I think most people are having lunch more like 1, 2 o'clock.
And I suppose, literally by definition, that is afternoon.
Well,
Noon
that
being
is
12.
afternoon. So I think actually your student may be right there.
Yeah. No, they didn't say it. The lesson said it. But
Oh,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That is correct.
I think the only people who have lunch at 12 are the people who work in an office.
Yeah, and the lunch break is from 12 until 1, so they're going to have...
So you're going to go to the shop, you're going to go to the kitchen, everyone will literally have their food, yeah. Or if you're in school or whatever,
Yeah.
But if you just work remotely, like us, lunch could be at 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Your breakfast could be 4 in the afternoon.
Really?
But we are quite good with it, actually. I think... as a teenager, I wasn't, and I really didn't value breakfast. But no, we're good. We're actually good. I know I can get lost on my tasks of the day and not eat for hours, but I think for the most part we're quite good for it.
Yeah, I think so. And it's probably worth mentioning because the listener may think that we're back in Naples if they can hear the background noise.
Yeah.
But we're not in Naples, we're in Dubai.
We are.
And the traffic is probably... Well, it's not as bad as Naples, but they're a horny bunch, I can tell you that.
That's a good way of putting it. They are a horny bunch. And not quite as horny as Naples, but they are horny.
Well, we witnessed a crash last night.
We did. We've heard a few that have sounded like a crash.
You've had a lot of, screeching.
Yeah, and then that hit once something crunches at the car, that noise. Which hopefully you've never had to hear, but sadly we've heard it quite a few on our travels, and we've even seen it in front of us. We even had to help a woman in Thailand. Yeah,
because no one else would help her. It's insane.
No, well, what's the effect called that we explained?
Oh, bystander effect.
Bystander effect. Go to that episode. We also did a TikTok on it, so you can go see that short if you just go maybe about 6 or 7 shorts back. It explains the reason of bystander effect. This woman literally, when a car hit her, she had the size of a golf ball on her forehead.
That's even bigger. It was a tennis ball, even.
Yeah, like a tennis ball. It was overlapping her eye, so she was blinded in one eye. She hit her head freaking hard.
Yeah, because she was on a moped and the car knocked her off it.
Yeah, and in Thailand they don't wear helmets, so and everyone and there was a lot of people.
Yeah, everyone would just
there were hundreds
staring.
of people, but that's what happens, isn't it? People just stare and they'll be like, someone else, it's that,
But we didn't. We're not bystanders.
No,
we're helpful people.
We ran straight over.
We did. And she got the help. Ambulance came.
Yeah.
All's good in the world. Hopefully she's okay today.
I'm sure she went straight to hospital, so I'm sure she's all right.
Yeah, definitely.
I bet she doesn't wear a helmet, though.
Well, she would have been able to get one on at that point.
Well, not at that point, but anyway.
Do you know, apparently, if you do have a head injury, it's best not to take your helmet off.
Is that in case it's fracture, you're just going to pull your head apart?
Yeah, but if you've got your helmet on, then you're containing the swelling, and the minute you take it off, it's going to go woof.
Right, okay. Interesting.
Swell out. I'm not a doctor, do please look that up and check, but...
That makes sense. It's if someone's had a crash, you're not supposed to move them,
No, and if you've got what do they call it? Blunt force trauma, I think they call it, according to Grey's Anatomy. If you've been stabbed and you've still got the knife or whatever it is.
Oh, God, you have to leave it in, don't you?
Yeah, you got to leave it. Or, if you've fallen on a rake, I don't know. you got to...
Which you're never going to do. You're never just going to look at it and go, okay. Okay.
Yeah, your instant Your gut reaction's going to be like, get this foreign object out of me.
Yeah, you're instantly gonna do that. You're gonna pull it out and then realize, like,
Yeah.
I think it's very few people would keep it in.
Yeah. Like, it's just, like, you'd think that these things will be common sense, but they're just not. Like, a few years back, I slipped on my driveway on black ice. I was going to, pour some water on my windscreen so I could go and drive to uni. And I just went from vertical standing to flat straight on my back, hit my head on the floor. My mum was there and she ran out behind me. She's like, oh, sweetheart. She would cry her eyes out, pick me up. And it really, really hurt, as you can probably imagine, hitting your head on concrete, literally up and then down, it's very hard.
Tends to be how it goes.
You don't normally go down then up when you fall, do you? No, what I'm trying to say is, like, it wasn't like I fell on my bum then hit my head. I went from standing to hitting my head on the floor. Do you know what I mean? It was instant.
Yeah, which is always the worst.
Yeah. So very painful. But because my mum was so upset, I was trying to stay calm. It was pitch black as well because it was middle of winter, so I was out in the 7 a.m. or something. And then I came inside and she was like inconsolable. And so I got some kitchen roll and put it on my head. And I rang 999 myself.
That's crazy. Why are you ringing 999?
Well, because she was like, "Oh, what do we do? What do we do?" I was like, it's fine. I'm just gonna ring." So I rang 999. I'm talking to him, and they're like, "Yeah, put a tea towel in your head, but don't put any tissue." I was like, "I've already put tissue on it." Like, okay, because I put my hand to my head and I said to my mum, "Oh, it's not bleeding." And then I pulled my hand forward. I was like, "Wait, I am bleeding."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, I've put some tissue on it." Anyway, 2 hours later, A&E showed up. Not A&E, didn't show up. An ambulance. The paramedics showed up.
2 hours?
Yeah.
What did you do for that 2 hours?
I sat on the sofa, like, putting pressure on, and I was emailing my lecturer, being like, "Hey, I'm not coming in."
Wow, that is... What was your mum doing in these 2 hours?
I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Doesn't sound like anything much
probably
helpful.
She was probably just sat staring at me intently to make sure that I wasn't concussed or anything. No, I don't want to make my mother sound like, she's an unbelievable superwoman. Like, normally she'd be on it like a carb on it, but I think she's just so shocked. I think she was like, I think she was in trauma herself from witnessing me falling like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is traumatizing, especially if it's a kid, isn't it? How old? Yeah. But you were older, so...
Yeah, I was doing my masters. I was like 24 or something.
Yeah. Because I had a similar situation, but my mum was quite proactive, so I think we were okay. So and I was quite young. It was the first time my friend was coming over to mine to play this game. So I was super excited, and I was like hitting a ball. I was just waiting outside his house for him to, come out. We went to pick him up, and I was just like hitting this ball about like a tennis racket or whatever, and I hit it into his garage. His garage door was open, and I hit it into the garage. So I ran, to get the ball. But what I didn't realise is that the garage door, it was one of those very British garage doors that you just pull and it goes up and feeds into sort of the ceiling of the garage. It was like halfway up, but it was above my eye level, so I didn't I thought the entire garage door was open, so I just locked in and the ball ran. I just ran full pelt into like the metal rim of the base of the door. It was quite a gnarly, like I took a full-on chunk out my head.
Ouch.
And I was just in shock. You're in shock initially, aren't you? And that's what I always find interesting about when you hurt yourself, like you have a serious accident. For the first few minutes, can be longer, you don't feel any pain. You're just sort of like trying to figure it out. And I love how it slows down. I find that fascinating.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's well weird. Like when things properly, I think it's incredible. I think there's so many things we don't know about ourselves. Like, again, I've had other accidents where things have totally slowed down. It gives you, like Doctor Strange, it gives you the time to act accordingly. It's really impressive.
Good example.
Yeah. But anyway, my mum was pretty quick. She saw it and went, "Oh crap," and she was like, "Excuse me," like shouting up to my mate's dad, like, please can you come down? We need some help, like, not like freaking out, please, can you just come over? And he's like, went, oh my God. And they quickly went, to be fair, they got a wet tea towel.
Yeah.
So they did do it right. And they put it on, they applied it, they called and they drove me to the hospital and I was just like a bit frazzled. I don't know if I cried actually. I don't really remember crying. I just remember being like in major shock. I probably teared a bit. I probably did, but and then like they just glued it. They do that with yours?
They did nothing to mine actually. It wasn't bad enough. I didn't need stitches or anything. Right. They were just like, yeah, it'll heal on its own.
Oh, mine they legit like glued. They just had this what looked like just PVA glue like, and they just had this like long tube and they just sort of dragged it along the cut.
That's crazy. Is that how you got the scar on you?
Yeah, that's why I've got a scar on my forehead. Yeah, because I just ran and they just glued it. That was it. And I had no stitches.
Wow.
I knew.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's mad that they'll just glue it.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked by that.
Did I tell you about the I had a mole removed on my arm when I was in Australia, and it was in like this proper hippie town called Byron Bay, and it was basically like a hole. They put it over it and they like hole punched the mole out more or less. It was just this like God, this circle around the outside, and it just poop, and it was done. Like a potato gun.
Oh.
It's just like a potato gun. Did you have a potato gun?
I did.
Yeah, spud gun.
I don't like the visualizing this all.
No. But yeah, it was like a total hippie town, and he goes to me, do you want a stitch in it, or do you want some seaweed on it? And I was like,
oh my goodness.
Did I hear you right? It was like, yeah, seaweed's like, it'll heal it, put it on, bandage it up, a couple of days, it'll be sorted. I was like, yeah, okay. So he put some seaweed on my arm, gave me a bag of sweets, and I was on my way.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, it's just like, that seaweed, glue, like there's random ways of healing that you wouldn't expect.
No, you wouldn't. And I think, well, I guess, the cavemen survived one way or another, and they were being chased by all sorts, and they would have got some severe injuries, so they found a way. So yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of bush, ways to repair things and remedies that we don't use. I know the Chinese like a lot of remedies that they still really do still use today and swear by. Like, it hasn't been lost, which is quite nice. They're quite hard to find, Chinese remedy shops. I've only found one, and that was in Malaysia, and it was fascinating. I guess you've got to go to China. I've never really come across any others, but they're still they swear by, and I know it's like not just like the really cultural part of China. I know it's like most people I will still use a lot of remedies.
Well, I wonder if if you're going to like a Chinatown anywhere, does Dubai have a Chinatown?
Oh, it must do, yeah.
Interesting. Maybe we try and find it.
Yeah, so we've always gone to the Chinatowns wherever we go. It's mad how China's managed to just create a town in every country of the world. Like, I don't know how it'd be quite interesting to learn how that has come to be. But they're always really fun. The best one is between Singapore and San Francisco.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, actually.
The Chinatowns between those two are excellent. I don't know. They're both very good. Singapore's probably feels more like it. You generally feel like you're in China because it just has such a strong Chinese residence there. It is like, whereas San Francisco, whilst it does have a residence, but it's cool as both of them. They're definitely worth. If you're in either place, they are actually worth a day. Yeah, they're a good fun.
And in San Francisco, you can watch fortune cookies being made, and you can write your own fortune, can't you?
You can. I really like that one. And next to it they have like boba tea. That's really nice next to it.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have like really cool shops, don't they? Like just sell the craziest art pieces.
Yeah.
Like you'd never be buying it unless you're like a billionaire. Like just a stunning like pieces you would have in like the walkway when you come in, like like really artsy stuff, and it's just they're so cool to go around them. But it is so funny. They approach us as if like, oh, are you interested in anything? Like, Look at me. No, I'm not.
I'm in my Crocs.
Yeah, I'm in my Crocs. I've got, colourful shorts. I'm a tourist. I'm not here coming in here to drop 100k on a blooming Donald Duck art piece, am I?
You say that, but we do, like, everywhere we go, we think, we should start collecting our, building our art collection.
I am totally up for that. I'm not dropping 100k, but
oh god, no.
We'd have to have 100k first to even do that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. But no, I do like the idea though.
Definitely, if you play, like, we go back to Gilly Truang, and that artist was incredible.
Yeah, he was great.
I'll find his Instagram and we can link it in the show notes.
Absolutely, and there's a couple of Mexican artists that we've come across that are good. I do want to start doing. I do want to start getting art pieces. It's quite easy to travel with other paintings; they just roll it up.
Yeah.
I don't know how it doesn't ruin it, but it seems to work out well.
I think they put it in a tube. It's like a cardboard tube with things on it. Yeah.
So, definitely, I'll be giving into the next time we come across something like that. I'll be giving into it for sure.
We'll have to keep an eye out.
We will. I can't believe we've gone 16 minutes and we've not said the most important thing about this episode.
We haven't. Oh my days.
Oh, you haven't even started.
That's my fault. I'm meant to be leading this, and I'm not doing a very good job of navigating. But we can have a drum roll, Scott. Happy anniversary to our podcast! Woo!
We need
party poppers.
The sound of party poppers. Add that in the sound bites. Yeah, that was a horse, but okay. We have
like the coconuts.
Monty Python. Oh god, watch Monty Python. It's so funny. But,
episode 31, and we're a year in. So, the day that this episode goes out will be the 21st, I think, week commencing 20th. So Monday the 20th, Tuesday the 21st, and on the 23rd, that is the actual date that we put out our first episode. So we've been doing this for a year now, Scott. Can you believe it?
No, I can't.
Did you, when we first said we should start a podcast, because we said it for ages before we even started it. Like, did you think when we were sat on the bed in Bali, in Ubud, and we were recording the
that was so funny.
Jingle, did you think, a year from now we're going to be 31 episodes in and a year in?
No, I didn't. I think... Well, I don't know. I am optimistic, so but with podcasts, it's one of those things that people get excited by, but then they also get either quite bored quickly, or most people are like, oh, it demands work and demands effort to keep it up. But so I wasn't sure if we would keep it up, but I was super passionate about we're committing to this.
Yeah.
So I was optimistic, but I also had my doubts. Yeah. But I'm very happy we've kept it. And we've gone to a weekly for like the last few months. We've gone to weekly. So that's an added, we've doubled our shorts, we've doubled our episodes. So it's, that's added more effort for sure.
Yeah, but I feel like it's nice. It's just, when we record every 2 weeks, say, then it's, you're not necessarily remembering what you've done in that. But like when it's going out weekly, I think we've got so much to talk about. And I think that if we just do like one episode every 2 weeks, I mean, we've not got enough time to talk it through. So I like the weekly cadence. And yeah, it's so funny because I remember so clearly being sat in the jingle I mentioned before. I created the backing in a Pizza Express.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing in Leeds that day. I was there for some reason, and I was just like, right, I'm gonna go into Pizza Express for lunch. Said to the waiter, can I work from here? He was totally fine with it. It was grand, and I just sat there giggling to myself like, balls deep. And it's good fun. It's great. I think it's such a wonderful way for us to document our travels as well. Like, we're going to have this for years to come. Wherever this podcast leads, if it's just us and, a handful of listeners, so be it. If it skyrockets, so be it. Like, it's just, I think it's so nice for us to have that. It's like a documentary for our travels, an audio documentary.
Yeah, it's interesting because you brought that insight, I guess, to me, because I'm very driven. I'm very strategic in what I'm doing. So for me, I do things that are gonna bring me some gain. When I looked at podcasts, like, great, okay, how are we gonna grow this? How are we gonna evolve this? Take this all the way to stages, to live shows, to getting sponsors, blah blah. Like, that's where my head goes straight away. But you've definitely opened my eyes to, well, if it doesn't go to any of that, it doesn't matter, because for you, we've learned, haven't we? For you, it's more just like a documentation, like you said. Whereas for me, I sort of chase the dream. But I think it's a nice balance. It's a nice balance. Yeah.
I think it is. Like, I think that it's good that we have you being that way and driving it, and us going for things like that. Because, regardless of, again, how it ends up, that just is only going to improve it and improve the quality of it for whatever the outcome is. You know what I mean? So, like, where, of course, you're more on the side of let's grow it, and I want to do that, but I'm also okay if it's not. I think that whatever it ends up as, the fact that we're pushing for that growth means that the quality is going to be higher and those memories are going to be stronger, and it's just, it's not the destination, it's the journey, but it's not also nice to get there.
Yeah, I think I can get a bit obsessed with where we're trying to get to. Yeah. But no, that's how we balance each other. Just, it's a good insight into our relationship as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday.
Cheers.
Cheers. Chin chin. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, well, just like last year, we're at the start of our travels, at the start of January, but we got off to a bit of an interesting start. Scott, would you care to tell us now how we got off this year?
Yeah, so I mean, we always confuse people when we say, oh yeah, we're going traveling all year, and they're, oh Gary, where are you going, blah blah blah, and we'll list off places, and they'll be like, when you going? We're like, oh, I don't know, soon. And they're like, what? Like, if it's not, to people, I've learned, if it's not booked, they don't believe you're doing it. And they're just like, oh, okay, you're just going to talk about it. But I mean, we've traveled for all of last year. We're so comfortable with traveling that we will book a place, within 2 days of it, of doing it. So, because we know, we're comfortable with traveling. And that's what we did. Like, we booked this like a week. I mean, we knew we were going to leave in January. We just didn't, we were so busy with the Christmas period. You can get cheap flights any day, Yes, of course, you can get cheap flights if you book it well in advance. But there's always cheap flights out there. There's always cheap accommodations if you look hard enough. So, yeah, we went, and we went cheap. We went with Pegasus, which is a brand I'd never heard before. But I have started to use this website, which I forget the name of. I think it's called Flight Aware. What's good with this is, especially if you go on budget, this is worth doing, is you can get the, what's it called? Not the plane code. The, the code of the booking, not the booking reference. Every journey has a code.
Like the flight reference
number. Reference, yeah. There's a name for it. But that journey will have a flight number. You'll get it on your ticket. You'll get it on your confirmation. Anyway, take that, throw it in there, and what it'll show you is the what time it has hit those destinations in that journey. So it'll look at that journey, and every time it's done that journey, so it's done that journey 101 times, it'll show all the 101 times, and it'll tell you the time it left and the time it got there. The good thing with that, with budget airplanes, is that you can quickly validate, is this flight going to get me there on time? because a lot of time with budget flights, they don't get you there in time, they mess you up. So I verified that. It's a good thing to do for budget. I verified that it only, max it had been 5 minutes late. So I thought, oh great, well it's budget and it's a very reliable budget airline for that journey. And then we got there 2 hours late and we missed our connection.
Yeah, which I don't think is their fault. Like, because it was snowing really bad in Manchester when we left, and the weather was horrendous. Like, I was saying I wouldn't want to drive in this visibility, let alone fly a plane. But we were 2 hours late in taking off because of the snow. And then, all along I kept thinking and having discussions about it, saying there's going to be loads of people on the plane, so they've got to hold the next flight. I'm sure they'll hold the next flight. And as we got off the plane, there was a guy there waiting, saying, if you're going on to Dubai or Doha, come here. So a load of people there, and then you were like, yeah, this is it. I've seen this happen. They're going to get us on the flight. Then they're like, yeah, you're going to be on tomorrow night's flight, and we're going to put you in a hotel, but we're going to feed you. And it was an interesting experience because it was a combination of being really disappointed and then being like, okay, well, at least we can go and sleep. They're sorting it out for us. And I mean, the hotel was an Ibis, and it was nice though, wasn't it? It weren't like it didn't look like one of the Ibis, to call it Ibis budget when it's like really basic. Yeah. It was a nice enough hotel, wasn't it? Yeah,
they to be fair, they try as well. It took ages to finally get to the hotel. We had to when we got to the the baggage collection, and our bags didn't appear because they keep the bags for the next flight. But we're like, well, we have no clothes. Mm-hmm. We need a bag. Then we had to it took us a while to figure out that because we're just watching this thing go round and round and wondering where our bags are. Then you have to request them. That took like an hour. And then you had to figure out your hotel. You had to go to... But once you got to those places, they were efficient in dealing with you. It's just there's a lot of wait time. There's a wait time for the bag to appear. There's wait time for the shuttle to appear. There's just the time of you figuring out where am I supposed to go next? Where is it? Oh, it's there. Oh no, it's not there. It's over here. So, but so it was good and bad. Never fun. That's the third flight connection I've missed. But I just want to be clear, I wasn't late to any of those connections. Well, it wasn't because of me. It was all because of the flights were late. So, it's never fun. But it would have been good if we got a day in Istanbul, but the hotel was an hour away from the centre, and I worked all day. So, and it was and
I had a class in the middle of the day, and they were picking us back up at 5 to go back to the airport. So it just didn't work out. But actually, my student who's from Turkey said it was maybe a bit of a blessing because it wouldn't have been enough time, and you'd have wanted to have stayed and had more time. So maybe it just means that we need to go back to Istanbul one day.
Yeah, I hear great things of Turkey in general. And last time I went, I was very young. So, my experience of Turkey is a resort. So I really haven't experienced it at all.
Well, I think we're going to add it to the list. How about that?
Absolutely. Turkey, I would.
Okay. Well, we're approaching the end of this episode, so I think it's important that we move on to our travel segment. So we can't exactly go into, the first thing that we noticed about Dubai because we've been here before. So let's just go straight into Scott. What is your favourite and least favourite thing about Dubai?
So, honestly, Dubai is... It's hard to find something bad about Dubai because it's just got so many good things, and it's also hard to pin one thing that's great. I could list off a number of things that's great. I really could. Dubai is it's fantastic. It really is. It really is. I think if you're not sure about it or you don't like it and you haven't been, you've got to give it a chance. You'd be surprised. And I find the more I come, the more I like it. Because the more you get, the more you see how much there is. I just keep finding more things. I think you could be entertained for a lifetime here. There's just so much, and there's so much more they're building. So they have everything you could want to do, they have here. They just have everything. So that's kind of wonderful. But I'm going to kind of keep it a bit selfish to me for this time round. And for this particular trip here, My favourite thing was the marathon. So I ran a marathon here, Dubai Marathon 2025, and it was awesome. It was the most diverse marathon I've ever been a part of. It was 140, I believe, nationalities.
148, I think.
148 nationalities. Like, we met everyone. I have a photo with someone from Brazil, Cyprus, Tanzania, and then we had like a couple other nationalities, I think maybe Swiss. Yeah, like I met every nationality under the sun. It was so cool. I met a Guinness World Record holder who actually broke a Guinness World Record. Actually, in the marathon, he actually started running with me. It was like crazy. He did it. He broke the. He actually broke the record by running the fastest marathon barefoot and blindfolded.
That's just insane.
It isn't. And when I say he was blindfolded, he was blindfolded. He had big, like golf ball size foam balls covering his eyes, and on top of that, which they taped to his eyes, on top of that, he had a blindfold. He would not see nothing. There was nothing he was seeing, and he was completely barefoot, and he ran like a really fast race as well. He beat me. So bloody impressive. So yeah, marathon was just so cool. I massively recommend. Also a great start a marathon. It's just straight and it's flat, so good start a marathon. Do you want to say your favourite now?
No, you go ahead, because I feel my favourite and least favourite are connected, so I think you just go to your...
My least favourite, it's impossible. I don't want to be that guy, but I honestly am struggling so hard to find my least favourite thing. I think the only thing I could probably think of is something I've not experienced here, and that is the summer here. If we were to live here, it's got so many good things, but the summer, which I keep forgetting when it is, January, February, March, April, May, I think it's it's July till August. No. I
think July till August is the worst, and I think Rami said like June till September's bad.
So June to September, pretty much, it's just, it's like 50 degrees, and it's the desert, so it's dry heat, no clouds. So it's like so hot. It's too dangerous to go out. So for 3 to 4 months of the year, your whole life is inside. So I think that if we were to live here, that would be a Debbie Downer. And I think really the only way, which most people do, they just have holiday homes. Yeah. So I think that'd be a great time to just go to the UK.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do, because I couldn't possibly live in my house for 4 months.
No, that would be crazy.
No.
Well, I like your insight, Scott.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go straight in with this. I wasn't going to say this, but one of my least favourite things, this is like a bonus one, is that while you were talking about the marathon, I don't know if you clocked it, that I sort of like my eyes shot to the window. I just heard another car crash. So I've got to say one of my least favourite things has to be that, like the road, because it's a safe place. I don't understand it. But there seems to be a lot of road rage and a lot of accidents.
Yeah, it's a bit like Orlando.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. Regarding that and regarding nothing else, I suppose. But, so, my favourite thing, I learnt about this thing from one of my students who's Turkish, and I mentioned that I was going to be going to Dubai, and she said, oh, you have to try Dubai chocolate, it's really good. I was like, all right, okay, didn't know what it was. I was like, is it just like chocolate that's made in Dubai? And she's like, no, it's a specific kind of chocolate that has pistachios in it. I was like, right, okay, interesting. She's like, it's like a creamy pistachio centre of chocolate. I was like, well, I love chocolate, I love pistachios, that sounds right on my street. So when we got here, we went in the supermarket and I saw some, and it said 41% chocolate. 41% chocolate. It didn't say milk chocolate on it, so I was like, oh, okay, great. Turned it over, read the ingredients, and there was no milk in the ingredients. I was like, this is so bizarre, as if like I've managed to find a vegan Dubai chocolate like on the first day. And we got it. I tried it. It was phenomenal.
It was really good.
It was, so it's, it's like a really, like an after eight, right? So it's something that it's encased in chocolate, but it's really thick. So if you just imagine like a bounty even, like it's that level of filled filling to chocolate ratio. It's not coconutty. I'm just trying to explain the amount of chocolate to the filling ratio of a Bounty. And inside it, it's got creamed pistachios, so like blended pistachios, and so like peanut butter but pistachio basically. And then this thing called kanafa. I think I've said that correctly ever.
Kanafa, yeah.
Kanafa. And it's actually a pastry, but it looks like rice vermicelli noodles. And they chop it up really small, and it's like this. It's got this crunch to it, and then that crunchy is blended with the pistachio cream, and then that's put inside chocolate. And it was just next level, wasn't it, darling?
It is actually to die for, and I am maybe a self-proclaimed, but I am a chocolate expert.
Baby, if there's anyone on this earth that I know knows chocolate, it's you.
Yeah, it really, like, I will challenge people to how many. If there was some tool that could tell you, compare how much chocolate people have eaten in this world, I'm going to be in top 10.
Yeah, I reckon.
I bet I would challenge the most obese person in this world. I know I'm not obese, but fucking hell, I can eat chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so,
what did you think of it?
It's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, it's even inspired me. I want to start making it myself, right? It's like, it's so good. So that would be my favourite thing about this trip to Dubai. And then, by a cruel twist of fate, because I read the back of the package 20 times. Got to read it.
Much.
I Googled it. Like, I consulted ChatGPT on it. And there was, it even said contains nuts and contains gluten in the allergen underneath. Didn't say anything about milk. I even emailed the company, but I haven't had a response from them as of yet. So I went back in the supermarket and I was going to get some more. And then I picked it up and I've read the packaging again. And this is slightly different packaging. So it had sometimes they put stickers over the ingredients, especially if it's an imported product. But it had I read it in French and I read it in Spanish and I read it in German and I read it in English. In none of them did it say milk. Because I know the word for milk in all of those languages and it weren't there. But then, anyway, I've gone back and it does contain milk. So that's really bizarre. But it does explain why I'm really phlegmy. I don't feel sick. I'm just really phlegmy. And that's because I don't eat dairy. I'm vegan. So that's my least favourite thing, that Dubai lied to me and they obviously don't have strict packaging laws. And I've been vegan for 12 years. It's probably happened multiple times before that I don't know about. This is the only one that I know about for sure. And I could tell myself, well, they've just changed the recipe and I got the last bar of the original batch. Maybe that's the case.
Maybe that is the case. We can't disprove that.
Exactly. So that's what I'm going with. Mm-hmm. But for anyone who's listening, by the way, who's a vegan, who's had this kind of thing happen, you can't beat yourself up about it because it wasn't your choice to do it. It's you can't be upset that a fly's got stuck on your windscreen when you drive it. It's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've not intentionally done that. But yeah. So anyway, not happy about that, and that's my least favorite thing about Dubai.
So you said 2 least favorite things.
I have.
You give them as a double.
Double. Well, it's because I was planning on saying this least favorite, but then I heard a car crash literally as you were speaking. I thought, well, I better mention it.
Yeah, there's a lot here, but and we might be driving tomorrow, which will be fun.
Well, I've already vetoed that one. So
Shelby's vetoed. I enjoy driving, but anyway, TBD.
I think we better wrap it up. So we thank you for taking a break from your day to get balls deep with us. Until next time, remember,
stay ballsy,
dive deep, but don't forget your snorkel.
Balls deep.